Awesome. Okay, so this session I am going to be covering how to make a PowerPoint presentation with Quarto. Before like getting into it too much, I think there's like a couple of how do you say this? Like PowerPoint has a lot of features, and most of the features you can't really make use of outside of PowerPoint. So the way that how exactly to start this? There's different philosophical approaches to giving presentations. There's the philosophical approach of having fewer text and just like like a header, and then focus on like talking about the thing, and then maybe like a figure, and that's it. And there's not like a whole lot of like animation or art or whatever it is. And then there's other philosophical approaches, like including design. I guess it's maybe like an aesthetic thing, less than or presentation style. The different presentation styles. Other ones could be like, you have a lot more art, you have like animations, you have like things going on. And I think like any of there, I think there's probably like one or two other styles, but like they're either style. Any of the styles are like, if they get your point across, that's great. And it's more about finding what works for you. The caveat with using Quarto is Quarto to make presentations is that it's more on the presentation style of like fewer text and like focusing on like graphics or data rather than on an animation, because you can't do as much animation as you can if you went directly into PowerPoint. But it is a good starting point. Like if your presentation depends on data or like figures or like results, then you can use our code to generate the results and then convert them into PowerPoint, which then you later on refine and modify as you need, and add animations or whatever. I tend to be on the style of not writing, like only having like less text and like one or two figures and stuff, and like having the attention be more on me and what I'm saying. But any style works just as well. So what we'll do here is we'll start with going to File, New File, Quarto Presentation, and then click. So there's three options here. You'll see Reveal.js, which is for HTML, Beamer, which is for PDF, and that's like LaTeX, and then PowerPoint. I've used all three before, and I can say that of the ones, from a programming ease of use coding point of view, Reveal.js is a really powerful one. You can, like, that's how I do all of my presentations now. I put them on, like, because they're HTML, you can very easily put them online. They're anybody with a browser can look at them. So I really, really like Reveal.js. It's very easy to make themes. It's very easy to make, like, to modify however you want to make your presentation very unique to you. But it does, like, if you want to make some modifications to the style, there are some default themes, but if you want to start customizing things, you will have to learn some. It's called SAS, SCSS, which is it stands for, I don't know what the S before stands for, but it's called Cascading Style Sheet. So you might have seen it before with, it's called CSS. Anyway, on the Quarto website, it is very well documented on on how to customize things. So if you ever did want to go in that direction, it's not as it's more beginner friendly than it used to be, but it's still not really purely beginner friendly. But it is a very, very powerful way of working, creating slides, and I really prefer it. Beamer, if you like creating really pretty PDFs and using LaTeX, if you've ever like created a PDF for like a thesis or an article, oftentimes like journals allow them to submit a LaTeX file so that they can generate the PDF on their end. It's also like if you have what's the word? Math. If you have any math involved, then Beamer is a really nice way of using LaTeX because math gets rendered really pretty, like it's very pretty. But LaTeX is a pain in the ass, so I strongly discourage most people from using LaTeX because it is a major pain in the ass. So maybe avoid that. And it's also very easy when you see a Beamer presentation, you're like, that was made by Beamer. There's like, it's pretty, like it's hard to avoid it looking like a Beamer presentation. But then now we get to PowerPoint. And this is something that I have less experience with because I don't use PowerPoint that much. And I haven't used it for many years just because I use Linux and there's no PowerPoint for Linux. So, but we'll start with that. So go to PowerPoint, click, and then you can put in the title, whatever you want. Let's say like fun times with Quarto. It better be fun times, okay? Yes, then create. So then it'll pop up this all this stuff, and so with Quarto converting to PowerPoint, you're using Markdown. So that's the wonderful thing about this is you don't have to learn another set of skills. You don't have to learn another set of tools. You're using Markdown, and the only thing that you have to modify is like knowing what is a header versus and how is a header converted into slides. So we'll start at the top. So at the top there is the YAML header. So you have that in between the three minuses or the dashes, and everything that anytime that you want to convert to something with Quarto, you say format and then the file extension. So in the case of like if you wanted to convert to PDF, you change that to PDF. If you want to convert to Reveal.js, you change that to Reveal.js. If you want to create it to what's the other one? Word, you write docx. So in this case, we want to keep it as PowerPoint. And so inside PowerPoint, what we can do right now is you can actually just start and click render. Yes, and you'll have to save it somewhere.
I need to start?
Yeah, exactly.
How was it called? Quarto? Oh, you downloaded it somewhere else.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing to be aware of with Word documents and PowerPoint presentations is anytime you re-render, you always have to make sure that your PowerPoint closes first before you can re-render it. So we'll always have to be closing it, opening it, and closing it. So you'll see here right away that the title goes on its own title slide. If you go to the next slide, so a 2-level header, so hashtag, if you see on line 6 in our studio, hashtag Quarto, it gives a header, And that's what would be the header in the slide. So any header creates a new slide. Any first level or second level header creates a new slide. So that's one way of distinguishing what is a slide and what is not, and what is content on the slide. You will also notice that it's really boring looking, and unfortunately, it's not as easy to change the themes and the styling within Quarto because PowerPoint has its own thing. It does its own thing. So what you'll end up, and we might test this out. I haven't actually tested this out so I don't actually know how well this will work. But what you have to do is create a file that would kind of be the theme file, and then inside of the Quarto document you reference this file use this file to dictate the theme. But we'll get to that in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this file, close the Quarto, and we'll start with right below the Quarto header. We'll add a code chunk, an R code chunk, and we'll call it setup. We'll call the R code chunk setup, and then inside there inside on line 9, do hash bar space include. That's slash. Bar is the
vertical one.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, I have keyboard issues now. Wait.
I've been having keyboard issues too. Yeah, and inside the
why
chat.
Does it appear like this? It's so annoying.
I think that's right.
How's it here?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
But it's still a bit like a diagram.
Yeah, it's off to the side. I think it's because of the font that you're using. It might be changing the theme.
Yes.
Oh, but now not. Yeah, exactly. And then space include colon false, and then we'll create a new line.
Nice.
And then delete.
It's automatically added.
Yeah. And then delete. No, sorry, like delete the backspace. Yeah. Sorry. Library, tidyverse. And then new line, library, Palmer penguins. PA, like apple. L, like Luke. Oh, you don't have it. So go to your console and type out pack, pack, open close bracket, Palmer, so PALMER.
Wait.
Sorry, PAL, like Luke, M, like, I think you have to do quotes. Sorry,
yeah.
Quotes around the whole thing. Yeah. E as in excited, R as in raised, yeah, and then penguins.
Yes.
Enter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, so now you have it installed. So then what we'll do is we'll go to the bottom of and create a new on line 32. Create a new slide. So we'll start with just the first level slide, and I believe the first level slide makes it so that it's a title, not a title slide, but like a section slide. So it separates it out into like a different section, but have only one header, one hashtag. Yep, and then do some nice figures. Type out nice figures. And then create a new line, and then do hashtag, and then space, type out two figures side by side. And then create a new line, and then code check. And then do hashtag bar space. So anything, just so that everybody else knows, hashtag bar is a Quarto set of options. So it tells Quarto like options to use for the code chunk. And what we're gonna do is there's a thing called you can it's how you lay out the output of the code chunks, and also how you lay things out when it comes to the output in general. So it's called layout minus n call. So layout minus n call is saying have two columns. So have things side by side, two of them. So we're going to just do two. And then create a new, type out two.
With numbers?
No, with numbers, yeah. And then type out, we're going to want the figures to be a little bit, well, we'll get to that later. Delete. And then type out ggplot, penguins. You don't have to do the colon without the two. Just ggplot, no two. Open close brackets, penguins, comma, AES for aesthetic, open close brackets, x equals bill, BILL underscore length underscore mm, comma, y equals bill underscore depth underscore mm, and then go to the end and do plus. And new line, geom underscore point. And then create, so open close bracket, yep. And then create a new line and do ggplot, open close bracket, penguins, comma, AES, open close bracket, x equals species. And because species is a E for excited, EI, yep, IES, yep, E, yep, there you go. And then comma, we're gonna add some color, so we'll just say comma fill equals species. And then go to the end and do plus. And then new line, and then do geom underscore bar, open close bracket. So let's test the code out to see if it works. So do run that, yep. There we go, great, it works. So now, right now, it doesn't, it's not side by side, but now if we render the plot, or render the presentation. I think you have to close it first. Close it and then re-render it.
Should
I think it's already, is it open again? I see that it on your...
No, it's not stuck, but maybe I should delete the previous file.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't need to delete. Try to re-render it again. Can you close that and show me the other presentation that you have open? Because you have another one open.
But it's not it's another thing.
Oh, it's not okay.
No.
That's strange.
I tried to delete the previous file to see what happened.
Yeah. Unless
Or maybe it's a OneDrive thing.
maybe. Can I see your background jobs in the RStudio? And scroll down.
No, it's
Okay, scroll up.
Save
It
all.
looks like it's. And then go back to background again, background jobs. And scroll to the top. Okay.
To the very top?
Yeah, I know, that's good. That's fine.
No.
Maybe try to delete it. Did you delete it?
Yes, and now it doesn't appear anymore.
It doesn't even appear?
No.
Where is your files tab? Oh, it's down there. Can you click the files button?
Yes.
There you go. Can we try to open it from there?
Ah. Okay.
There we go. I don't know why that was happening.
Okay, maybe I was searching in my downloads folder.
Oh,
But that's where the other one went.
that's interesting. Okay. So if you go to slide 5, you'll see with slide 5, when you do one level header, it creates. This is like a section slide, I guess it's called. I don't know exactly the name of it in PowerPoint. But it separates out so that if you want to have like a transition to tell the audience, hey, now we're no longer talking about this other thing, we're talking about this new thing. But then you can go down to slide 6, and you can see that they are put side by side. And this layout functionality is really powerful. You can lay it out in a bunch of different ways. You can have like 2 ones on the top and then 1 on the bottom, and there's like many different ways of doing it. You'll notice that it's a little bit tiny, right? It's like, how do you see? So the way that we fix that is by increasing or decreasing the font, the size of the images. So we do that by going to line 35, I mean. So closing it, yeah. Line 35, new line, fig minus FIG minus width. Yep, that one. And then do 4.5. Let's do 4.5. And then create a new line. The default is 7, so just to keep that in mind. I think the default is 7. And then fig minus height. And then do 4.5 as well. Then save. And then if we render it again, you can see that it's been made bigger this time. So now we can close that. So that's like a way of like, yeah, having figures. So what we'll do is like oftentimes you'll see like people doing 2 lists side by side. So what we'll do is create a new on line 35 for 45. Create a new header called 2 columns. So two hashtags, and then 2 columns, and then new line, and then do colon, 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 colon. So 4 colons. It could also be 3, but and then space, and then columns.
Columns.
Yep. And then new line, and then colon, 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 free, space, curly bracket.
Oh, we have a problem. Wait. It's in the...
I think the curly bracket is
Yes.
Alt-GR. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Dot column. So the way that this works is, well, I'll get you to write it out and then I'll explain it.
Inside.
I'll get you to write it out. Yeah, inside the curly brackets. Dot column, not colon, just dot, single dot. Column, without the S. Column.
Like me writing column.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Space, and then width, width, equals quote.
Without space.
Yeah. Quote. Let's say 45%. So 45%. Quote. So that's saying this column is going to be 45% of the width, total width. Create a new line. Colon, colon, colon. And then create a new line. And you can copy and paste line 47 to 48. And then create a new line, colon, colon, colon. And then we'll end it by doing colon, colon, colon 4 times. So they each have to have their own closing. It's like these colons are like open, close brackets. Yeah.
Like
4 colons. No, you had it right. Yep.
Here?
So delete line 50. Yep, delete that one.
Okay.
So then now inside of the line, so go to line 47. And we'll create a new line. And we'll type out like minus space list item 1. And then new line minus space list item 2. And then go into the other on line 51, create a new column. Create a new line, yeah. And then here you can type out, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
That works, yes. So then now I'm going to explain this in a second, but first I want to have you see what it looks like. So render it. So you see here, it creates 2 columns, like like a side-by-side pairing. 2 text boxes is what it creates that are side-by-side. So like this is a very common thing. Like for instance, if you want to write some text and then have like maybe a small table or some numbers on the side, or maybe have some text and then have a figure on the side. It's something that's very commonly seen, I think, in a lot of presentations. I don't know about how anybody else sees it, but I've seen this quite often. So, and you can create as many columns as you want here, and you can also create as many, like you can copy and paste them so that you have multiple throughout the slide, and you can modify the widths and all that stuff. So let's go back to the code, and I'll just explain the code I'll explain the code. So here you're saying you're creating a section, like a chunk. This is a columns chunk, and so that's like between the 4 colons. That's saying, okay, in between this 4 colons is a columns chunk. And then inside that columns chunk, you're going to create one column that's a width of 45%, and then you're going to create another column that's a width of 45%. And the reason why you have curly brackets is that's the options or that's the language, or not language, but it's
Syntax,
the way
right?
that the settings are structured for these colons. So just like with R, the R code chunks on line 35 to 37, the way that they're like hashtag bar, that's the same thing with this. Is options are given with the curly bracket and then the dot column, or like the thing that it is. So in the case of line 34, it's curly bracket R. So it's telling Quarto this is a code chunk for R. And in this case on line 47, it's saying curly bracket, this information is related to a column. So create a column inside of the columns section. And the options given to that column are to have a width of 45%. I think there's a couple of other options for it, but like the width is really the most important part.
I have a question. So does it mean that if I want the R code to run in the column, I just put the R code chunk
You got
inside?
it.
Yeah.
Yep. And we can test that out. Yep. So you can do, let's do like 1 + 1 or something. I don't know. Or even actually, let's delete this and replace this code chunk with line 56, so we can have it on the other side. So instead of line 52, delete line 52. Yes, exactly. And then delete line 52. Yes. And then you can add 2 + 2, 1 + 2, 1 + 1, or even have one of the plots. You can add one of the plots.
Sensitive to spaces? If I do this, will it work? Or?
It should work. Yep, this should work. Then we can render it. And then see, it gives the output of 2. So if you wanted to add like figures and stuff, then that's easy to do. Another thing that is pretty common to do with the slides is to have bullet points be like incremental. So if you go to line 48, so that you click like, next, and it shows like each of them coming up. So create a new line above 48, above it, and then do : dot or space dot incremental. Yep, and then right below on line 50, create a new : Yeah, then save. So what that'll do is then when you have the slides and you click the next button, it'll show list item 1, and then you click it again, list item 2. You can set it so that all of them are, so I think the only way to see it is if you actually do the presentation. Like if you open up the presentation, yeah, and then click next. I wonder if it's not possible inside of a code chunk or inside of the columns chunk. How about if you, instead of this incremental, do the incremental at the, cut and paste it up to the previous one. The previous, I think it's there, at line 20. Colon.
So save and render?
It won't render yet. No, it won't render. You have to do : there.
Below?
At the end of, like on line 23. Colon. And then new space. You want to have spaces after, empty lines. An empty line. Like enter. Yeah, perfect. And then scroll down to the bottom, and then we have to delete that extra : 52 on line 52.
So it's like opening and closing, like a style
Yes.
channel.
Perfect.
Okay.
And This might work. Let's try it. And then if you go to the no, yeah. So I figured this was not going to work. So this is a really good point here. So I want you to close the presentation, and then go to the top to the YAML header. The thing that really helps whenever you're working with Markdown is to have some type of like automatic reformatter. So what we're going to add is a reformatter to this particular file. So you do editor, colon, enter, new line, and then Markdown, enter new line, wrap 72, new line, canonical equals true. Yeah. So what that's saying is every single time you save, Quarto or RStudio will reformat the code. So you can already see here, wait, before you re-render, look at line 26. Look at what happened to it. It used to be a list, right? And that's because you always, if you want to create a list, you always have to create a new empty line between the list and the stuff above. So let's create a new line here. Enter one more time. You always have to have an empty line. An empty line above, yes. Exactly, there you go. And then, there you go. Yeah, so then now if you save, it reformats it, so then it fixes it. And then now we can render. So it's always a good idea. Like this is basically kind of like a linter, they're called. Linting is to check that the things work. So then here, I think you have to actually go and start the presentation to see the animation or like the incremental. Yeah, there we go.
Can you also check the animations panel of the slide?
Like inside, do you want Núria to do that, to check the animations panel, or?
Yeah,
oh, you can do that. To see if there's animations?
Yeah, like animations, and click the animation panel on the top. In the middle part.
This?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Look at that. See, I don't use Markdown. I don't use PowerPoint almost at all, so I didn't know about this. Thanks. That's helpful.
I never had animations in my slides, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the next thing is what we want to do is like I had mentioned, it's kind of plain, right? The theme is a little bit plain. What we can do is rename this Fun Times with Quarto PowerPoint file on the Files pane. So if you click not open it, but just actually open it up, not the Quarto, the PowerPoint. And then do File, Save As. Copy, same location, and instead change the name to be theme template. Theme_template. Like delete the whole thing. Delete the whole thing. And do theme_template. Yep. And save. And then now you guys are going to have to help me here with this. No, keep this open. Don't close it. Keep it open. How do you change a theme here? How do you change the themes of your slides? Design. Would it be under design?
But it would be. You mean in the PowerPoint?
What's that?
You mean in the
There we go. There, at the top. At the top, it says themes. Yeah, let's change the theme to something else.
Like you mean? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
do whichever one you like. That one's nice.
Okay.
There we go. That's great. So then, what's that?
That's it, right?
Yeah, and then save this. And then go to your, I'm not even sure this can exactly work, but go to your RStudio now. And then at the top, at line 3, create a new line right before the PowerPoint, the PPTX, so that it goes on a new line. Like right before the word PPTX. Yep, enter. And then go to the tab. And then go to the end of it and colon. And then create a new line. And then do reference minus doc, that one. And then do quote, theme, capital theme, underscore template dot pptx, quote, and then save, and then render. I think you don't have to close. You have to close. Yeah, you don't have to close the theme template, but you do have to close the fun times. Yeah. I'm not sure this is going to work, so this is going to be. Let's see how it does that.
Wait, I have an error.
Repair.
It's stuck with errors now. It worked.
Oh, there we go. Okay. It kind of worked. I guess it worked.
Yes.
So if you want to, like, basically what the point of this is that if you want to change the theme, you have to create a separate file specifically to change your themes, and then reference it with the reference minus doc. So then if you ever want to change the theme, then you open up the theme template file, modify the stuff, and modify the themes, and then re-render it. That's how you do that here.
What does,
and then the really, yeah.
What does it understand as a theme? Only like the background or a style of, I don't know. Or, yeah.
It's anything, like anything that changes the text, the colors, the fonts, the font size, the spacing, the like anything that isn't text, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you won't be able to add text to it, but you will be able to. I think you can probably add like headers and footers. Like if you have a logo that you have to include, I think that will also come along with it. But yeah.
So does this mean the content in the template doesn't matter? It's only the theme. Okay.
You got it. Yeah, content does not matter. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So that's like the PowerPoint, and I don't like. There's not much more I think to cover with that. The really nice thing about that the really nice thing with using Quarto instead of like PowerPoint is if you did ever want to switch to something else, like if you scroll up, like let's say you wanted to reuse some of the material in like something else, you can always change the format to PDF, to HTML, and if you want to see like just an example of what the revealed JS looks like, so if you go to the format and online, at the end of line 3, and create a new line, tab, reveal, REVE, reveal JS, that one, and then new line, tab, and then we'll do theme. We'll just add a theme here. There's several themes that you can find on the Quarto website, and we'll just use one called Moon. 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 Yeah. Save, then render,
But with both this and this.
Yep. So when you render, it will only render the first one. It is possible to render all of them at once if you wanted to, but this one will only render the first one. By default, it only renders the first one.
Oh.
And then it should pop. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then you can change, like go to different slides by using the keyboard, like left and right keyboard.
Oh.
Yeah.
This looks more professional.
Yeah, it is. It is like, and the nice thing about like HTML is that inside of the options, yeah, like there's just a lot of really nice things I think with Reveal.js compared to other ones, and it's because it's more like programming based. It's easier to make modifications to the themes to really customize it exactly what you want. Yeah. And so if you know, for the people who have attended my R courses, like the slides that I have there are made with Reveal.js. So it's just a really nice tool to use. Very, very clean, and and the documentation on it is really nice too. Really good.
Images.
Sorry? Oh. Huh?
How do you add images to the slides?
How do you add? Oh, images would be the exact same as with Markdown. So if you wanted to, like, if you have let's go in, like delete the line 23 to 25, and do exclamation mark. So delete exclamation mark, square bracket, open close square bracket.
I need to change the keyboard every time I do this.
I can't remember. Are you using Mac or? Oh. So the way that you get out of this is Control-1. Control-Shift-1 will fix that. Control-Shift-1. There you go.
I panicked now. Just copy paste from the
Yep, there you go. And then at the end, do open close bracket, regular bracket at the very end. And then inside of that open close bracket, you would put the path to the image. So you do like image.png. Or if it's like a URL, you can paste the URL. Yeah, so that would insert the image. The other thing that I was going to say is, and I forgot to mention about this, but you'll often have like speaker notes for yourself to have like comments. So if you create a new, like on line 24, and then do : notes, space notes, : enter, enter, new line, : and then inside there, so inside the and then create a new line, because you always have to have an empty space above the header. Yep. And then inside there, if you write out like inside between the three colons, I mean, you can write out notes to yourself as like for the speaker notes. So like here, you can just write out, I don't know, something like a note to yourself, exactly. And if you re-render it, if we want to re-render it to the PowerPoint, you'll be able to see it in the PowerPoint. Yeah, you'll probably have to. Yeah. So if you want to switch back to the because of the whole image thing? No, create enter. Maybe it's just note. Is it just note? I think it's notes. Save? Oh yeah, okay, note. And then to, what? No, maybe it's notes. It's gotta be notes. There we go. So then I think to see notes, I think you press P.
P.
P?
The letter P of penguin.
Is if you press the button P, the letter P? I thought P starts the presentation mode. No? Okay, so then click on the little options setting. And then tools. Oh, speaker view, S. Sorry, S, not P. So close that S. And then you'll see here, if you click the next button, like next slide, there you go. On the side, it says the timer, and then it says a note to myself. So that's a way that you can be able to look at notes to yourself. And the nice thing about the Reveal.js is, like, if you're wanting to give a presentation, you can actually duplicate the tab. There's instructions on how to do this, and I can't exactly remember, but you duplicate the tab, and so anytime you click next here, it shows next on the other slide. Yeah, see, it moved. So if you move this one to the side, if you like move the window to the side, to the left, yeah. And then if you click next in that one, click it again, See, it's changing it on the other side.
Yeah.
Do you see on both?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, so then if you have like two videos or two screens, you can have one screen that shows you the speaker notes, how long your time is, and then the next upcoming one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like PowerPoint, you can also do that too. So I don't think that's a special thing with this. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Does anybody have any questions?
Luke, could you help me solve a problem in running Quarto? Maybe after other people ask their questions.
Yep, I can definitely do that. Yep. Does anybody have questions before I address that one or help Jan out?
Just go to the top with the code. Thank you.
Elisa, you mean no?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you. I get an error. I don't know why, but I will look.
What's the error say?
You mean you are asking me or?
No, sorry.
No,
Elisa.
now I just did. Now it's fine. Thank you.
Oh, now it's fine. Okay. Yeah, now we can try to deal with yours then. If anybody else doesn't have any questions.